I hope everybody's doing well. Getting down to the last week. So hope you guys are finishing strong this week. We're starting to get into everybody's favorite topic of fractions. So I'm going to be going over today with our subtracting unlike denominators, as well as going over some of our mixed numbers. So on how to subtract those, because on those you will have to we'll go over borrowing and make sure that we understand that. So we'll start on page 25, and that's going to be with just subtracting those unlike denominators. So on question number 4, I have 1/3 minus 1/4. As you can see, can we subtract those how they are? We can. So if I have 1/3 minus 1/4, how do I need to get those fractions to look like? What's it called when I get those denominators to be in the same? That's going to be our least common denominator, LCD. So we want to find the lowest number that these have in common. So what we do is we first look at our highest denominator, which a 4 is greater than 3. So I'm going to look at the 4. Can 3 go into 4 evenly? It can't. So the next thing I'm going to do is multiply this by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. Now I need to see, can 3 go into 8 evenly? Nope. So I know multiplying by 2 didn't work. So now I'm going to multiply by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Can 3 go into 12? Yep, because if we just multiplied 4 times 3, we know 3 can go into 12. So I know my common denominator in this case is going to be 12. So I can go ahead and put my denominator for each. So now what do we say we multiplied 4 by to get to 12? That was 3. And anything I have to do by the bottom, I have to do by what? Do by the top. So then I have 1 times 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. Now what about this? We go over to this fraction. So now I have 3. I have to see, what did I need to multiply 3 by to get to 12? That's going to be 4. So I multiplied 3 times 4 to get to 12. And like our other fraction, we have to do the same to the top. So I have to multiply 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. So now I have my least common denominator, 12s. So now I can subtract these. I have 4 minus 3. What's 4 minus 3? 1. Now what about my denominators? Do I have to subtract them, or do I just leave them the same? Just gotta leave them the same. So my answer to 1/3 minus 1/4 is going to be 1/12. So now let's move over to using our mixed numbers, because this, you're going to have to still do our least common denominator, but we're going to take a step farther and we might need to borrow. So let's go through this and let's first see what our least common denominator is going to be. This is on page 26, question 6. So I have 3 and 1/6 minus 1 and 3/4. So I first have to figure out what my least common denominators are for this. So if I have 3, 1/6 minus 1 and 3/4. So I need to find my highest denominator, which is going to be 6 in this case. So then I look, can 4 go into 6 evenly? Nope. So that'd be 6, like 6 times 1. So now I have to go to 6 times 2. What's 6 times 2? 12. Can 4 go into 12 evenly? Yep. So 4 can go into 12 evenly. So I know my least common denominator in this case is 12. So I can go ahead and I'm going to keep my whole numbers the same right now. So going back over here, what I multiply 4 times to get to 12? That was 3. So I had to multiply 4 times 3. And anytime I do that to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So I have to multiply 3 times 3. So I end up with 9 twelfths, 1 and 9 twelfths. So looking at this fraction, I had 3 and 1 6. I found my denominator was 12, so 6 times what gave me 12? That was 2. So that I have to multiply that times the numerator. So 1 times 2, and that's going to give me 3 and 2 twelfths now. Now you might be looking and thinking, I can go ahead and subtract these now. My denominators are the same, then 3 is greater than 1, so I can just subtract those. Here's where we got to be careful. I first need to look at subtracting my fractions. Can I subtract, because our denominators are going to stay the same, can I subtract 2 minus 9? I can't. That would give me a negative number. If you can't take 9 pieces of pizza away from 2 pieces of pizza. So we first have to borrow. Just like subtraction, I need to go to my whole number, in this case, and I need to borrow from that 3. If I borrow 1 from that 3, what's that 3 go to? So if I take 1 away from 3, it's going to go to 2. So I took 1 away. Now in this case, what equals 1? So what fraction is going to equal 1? My denominator is 12. What's going to make that equal to each other? So if I needed a full pizza, I had 12. Full pizza came in 12 slices. I need a full pizza. I have to have 12 slices to make that full pizza. So in this case, if I'm going to add that 1 over to my fraction, that becomes I'm adding 12 to that fraction. So I need to add 2 plus 12. And that's going to give me 14. And then I can bring my second number down. So 1 and 9 twelfths. What is this called that we brought this into? And that's an improper fraction. So good job. So now we end up with 2 and 14 twelfths. So now I can subtract 14 minus 9. What's 14 minus 9? It's going to be 5. My denominator stays the same with 12. So now I go to my whole numbers. 2 minus 1. And that's 1. So my answer for number 6 on page 26 is 1 and 5 twelfths. So I know we started covering this a little bit towards the end. So definitely let me know if you guys have any questions and we can get those answered. Or if you guys just need to send me your work, double check your information. I'd be glad to help. Keep working hard on this last week. Keep pushing yourself. And look forward to talking to you later.